Or Instagram does what it wants. Mhm. All is well. It'll work out in a minute here, right? Come on. Work. Mm, mm. I don't know why this isn't working, everyone. Okay, great. Yay!
I know I finally got it figured out, kind of.
Yay. All right. How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good.
All right.
Thank you for joining me. Yeah, Instagram
You're
usually takes
welcome.
like 3 tries for me to get somebody on here, so we got it with two. So that's
Yes, that's good.
yes. All right. So yes, I'm so happy that you are here with me, Celey. Yes, like you guys don't understand. This person I met Celey 2 years ago now, and it wasn't, yeah, 2 years ago now, and it wasn't in the best of places, but
Definitely not.
yeah, we grew and share a bond. So it's really cool that she's here. She's an awesome person. So tell us more about you and what you do.
Oh, well, if we're going on titles, then yeah, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter as well, and yeah, a friend to many, a cousin. As far as work, we know what that is, but I am working on becoming an engineer, going through my degree process to become, yeah, that, a computer engineer to be more specific.
Yeah, awesome. That is really, really cool. So again, thank you so much for being here. We're going to talk
You're
about
welcome.
and how it helps with mental health. And I know like a lot of, well, I mean, it's changed now, but when I was growing up, like video games period, like certain games were not for girls, not for women,
At
you're not
all.
supposed to do those things. That's for boys. So it was really cool when you were like, I love playing games. I'm just like,
Yeah, gaming was always my thing. It is how I bonded with my brothers mainly because they loved
"Mhm.
Sonic, anything Sega really. But
Yeah,
that was their main thing, Sonic and Street Fighter. And I love the way that they bonded with their friends in playing. So I was just like, huh, okay, I'm gonna get good at that. I'm gonna see it because I'm gonna join their group. And that's exactly what I ended up doing. I played to the point where, okay, now I'm part of their thing.
yeah, that sounds good. I like that is a very good take on it. Like it definitely helped me break down social barriers as well. Like I get social anxiety to the point where I just won't talk to people. Like I'll question, I'll plan out the whole thing in my head, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say anything to that person. But video games have definitely helped me bond with people. So you're right. Yeah.
It's especially nowadays that you have basically the world to meet online. And you do. You meet people from, like me personally, I've met people from England, from Australia, and I wouldn't have been able to meet them otherwise if it wasn't for video games. You come together, you play this thing, you do this activity, usually end game content like raids and dungeons and things like that. So, yeah,
Hmm.
you come together, you build these relationships, and they become friends in real life. One of them
Like,
is actually here watching. So, yeah, it's fun.
hey. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. definitely. And I can attest to that too. Like, there's a lot of people that I wouldn't have met without video games or just remote opportunities, period. So, yeah, definitely. So, what do you first before we get into our interview? What do you have anything to drink tonight? Like, you have anything special?
No,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of chilling, just kind of
Okay.
sobered up, have to be for work tomorrow. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Okay. I
just
feel
chilling,
that.
enjoying the conversation.
Yes, I got some tea and some water, so I'm just chilling as well. And I'm gonna be creating with paint tonight. So, what are you gonna be using?
Me? Yeah,
Yeah.
just well, like I said, I'm just chilling. I'm just into the conversation. I didn't get anything together because my station is smaller, so I wasn't able to put the digital pad with the screen and everything up here. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
more
well, thank you again for joining us. So,
absolutely.
what are your favorite type of games?
Types of games would have to be racing,
Okay.
shooters, first person shooters specifically. Gears is okay, that's more third person. And fighters, racers. I'm not sure if I said that, but yeah,
Okay.
definitely those.
Yeah, I really like games that can tell a story. Like they may be a little more boring, but I'm not the best at like shooting games. Like I'm really not like with the precision. Like it's not.
It
not
takes a level of hand-eye coordination, so I get that. It's
yeah.
definitely not for everybody, but there can be some good stories in there despite, the consensus.
Right.
But yeah, Gears was a really good story if you're into stories.
Okay.
A lot of them are based off video games, like a classic that was based off of a movie was
Hmm.
007 GoldenEye. That was one that really got me into shooters, period. So I definitely love that. And
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I have to try those out. Like, so what would you say your favorite game is? Like, just
Ooh.
overall, do you have? Can you say you have a favorite one, or maybe top three?
Mm, top three. I'm gonna go with top three.
Okay.
Definitely Need for Speed. I've played that
Okay.
for the better part of my life, really. Jesus. Um, Borderlands.
Hmm. I've heard of
And
that.
yeah, to throw a classic in there has to be Sonic.
Okay. Yeah. And Rob is whispering in the background. He loves Borderlands, so yeah.
And
I've
you
heard
cannot love what maybe the newest one, the Tina extension, isn't so great, but yeah, Borderlands in general is amazing. So
okay. Cool. Yeah, I have to check that one out too. Like, I really, really like. I don't know if you've heard of this game. I love Plants vs Zombies because
yes.
I can just be big flowers and shoot zombies. Like that's amazing. So
Yeah, it's a good game. It is. I
yeah,
haven't played it in a while, but definitely up there.
yeah, it's a really good game. And I like Spyro. Like there's different games that I play when I'm feeling different things. Like is that the same for you or is
Oh
there
yeah. There's times when you just want to relax.
like
I tend to stick with games that I know the function is really good. So
mm-hmm.
relaxing kind of game for me is Destiny. Well, Destiny, I'm sorry. I misspoke. I like part two right now because I can just throw it on. I don't have to worry about what button is this and how do I throw a grenade. I can just pop it in and play. And hmm, for something like new, I'll pop in a puzzle game. So Ori is really good. That is just, oh, let me relax. Let me press these buttons. If
Right.
you want to get into the art realm with games, I would say Hue is really good. Another one, hmm, I can't remember the specific name of it, but it's another one of those 2D games. Really simple, but definitely go for Hue.
Yeah, you're gonna have to send me these because
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
to
Yeah.
play for sure. I definitely do. So I know you talked about. Okay, let me ask you this first.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people. Yeah, do you prefer a certain system over the other? Like, would you rather use the Xbox or the PlayStation? Like, and
Mm, I'm gonna have to go with Xbox.
yes.
Definitely. I've been Xbox for many years. I used to be a PlayStation girl, and then well, before that, it was, Sega. I didn't really get on the Super Nintendo bandwagon, so
Hmm.
yep, N64. But right now, Xbox all the way. I have a PlayStation, but I just can't get into it.
Okay,
Most of my friends are on Xbox anyway, so it
right.
works out.
It's a much better system, but it's okay.
I didn't say it.
Yes, I don't know. I just feel like it's much easier to use. Like, it feels better. Like,
It does. If you
yeah,
look at all the other controllers that came out after the fact,
right,
all based off of Xbox.
right. Yeah, the whole grip. Like, nobody else was doing that.
Nobody. Even the new PlayStation controller is based off of the Xbox One.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Everyone knows, but it's okay. So you talked about it a little bit. What made you get into gaming? I know you said relationships. Was that it, or do you remember like the first gaming system you had? Like,
That was officially mine that I didn't have to share.
yeah,
The first one was a Game Boy, and I resented deeply the fact that it couldn't be a game girl. I was just like, what is wrong with that? Like, I didn't want it to be pink or anything. I still want the blue color option and just have it be a game girl. Like, I don't want to identify as a boy just to be able, girls play these too. And I went on a whole little tangent with myself about that. But yeah, it was Tetris, Kirby, Pokemon. Um,
yeah.
yeah, those were my mains. Oh, and Donkey Kong Part 2.
Mm,
Played that to the ground.
yeah.
My game.
Yeah, that's a good one, which I actually didn't get onto until I got older, until I got into my 20s. And people will be like, "Wow, you haven't played this? We have to fix that." So, and it was a lot of fun. Like, I do love that game a lot. Like, my first gaming system was a PlayStation, and I had a PlayStation 2, and I think I stopped at 3. Like, that was it. I just stopped at that. But then I switched over, like you said, to the Game Boy. I remember I had the little flip one. It was so good.
I
And it was,
had the brick, the very first brick that took
oh,
four
okay.
AA
Yeah.
batteries. And then
Yeah.
I had the slimmer version, the clear one, the
I remember
color. Ooh.
this.
Um, so that was something special. But then, you graduate to different systems. And the very last portable system I got was the Switch. But I find that
Mm.
I don't use that much, so it'll probably be the last. Portable systems are good when you're traveling,
Mhm.
but when you're stationary, it's just like, oh, you might take it to the doctor's office and play to distract you while you wait the four
Yeah,
hours till they call you to the back. But
right. Other than that, no.
yeah, it's just sitting there collecting dust.
Okay. Because that's what I have been thinking. Like, maybe we should get one, but I don't know.
Yeah, best way to go about it is to get a bigger one.
Okay. Yeah, we'll consider that. So, do you agree? Oh, well, you didn't answer my question. So I know you told me what your first system was, but what made you like, yeah, this is my shit now. Like, this is what I do. I want to play games.
Yeah, it was mainly to form connections. Like I wanted connections like those that my brother had with their friends, and really just to be more connected to them.
Hmm.
So I found that as a way to just ease into their group and become closer to them. And it's like, okay, they don't mind having me around. If I'm pressing buttons with them. So I was just like, okay, yeah, let me just learn to press these buttons and then I'll be cool with my brother. So that's what I
Yeah.
ended up doing.
Okay. And that's really cool. Yeah. That's really funny. I started playing video games like that because one, I was the only child, and then my brother would send me like he bought me my first system. He would send me a whole bunch of different games. Like I don't know if you remember this. Really, it was really dorky, but I loved it. It was like backyard basketball or backyard whatever. Like, and it was these big head kids like playing little sports, and I love those games. Like I don't know why, but it was a lot of fun. So that's why I got into it, just to, I guess, feel like I wasn't alone for real, honestly, because my parents were older and it just seemed like, okay, I'm getting sucked into this world with Spyro, or I could build stuff or whatever. So it was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, like that was definitely like a parent's way of keeping their kids home and safe because my mom did the same exact thing. She sent my brother to come with me to get a 64. And it's like, okay, now you have your game. You come home from school, you play the
Right.
game until I get home. And I was just like, yeah,
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Kids are so different now. Like, I know things are not as, I mean, it wasn't safe then either, but I was definitely a latchkey kid. Like, I could just go in the house and just gotta be there till somebody gets back home or whatever. But yeah, no video games, right? They kept me company. Definitely a babysitter. So you're right.
Yes.
I
And
even
that
think
can be a double-edged sword though, because you don't want to start that too early.
yeah.
You find nowadays a lot of kids are starting way earlier and they're getting way too immersed in it. So,
Definitely. Yeah. I've heard a few stories of some kids saying or threatening to take their lives over not getting PlayStation 5s or whatever. I'm just like, okay, dang, like I understand, but I don't. Like that's terrible. Like that's terrible to me. Like
that that goes more into materialism for me. So, you can say that about video games. You can say that about Black Friday sales. And
that's
I
true.
remember growing up and going to high school and people being that way about sneakers. So it
You're
just
right.
really depends.
Yeah, you're right. Every generation has their thing they're going crazy about, or we need to have it. You're right. So
Yep.
it's just there. You're right. Hmm. So, do you agree with this statement? Video games could hold untapped potential to treatment of mental illness.
Yes and no. I can see it working for some types of PTSD. I know
Hmm.
they create certain games for that,
Okay, I didn't know.
but take something like an army shooter, Call of Duty.
Right.
That
Yeah.
can benefit and that can also harm. So it really depends on the person and the
Yeah.
issues that they're having. If
Yeah.
you consider social anxiety, it can definitely help because you have that common thing. Okay, we're playing this game together. We don't necessarily have to converse about anything besides that game.
Right.
And as time goes on, you can grow a bond with the person like, okay, you play every day at this time, so do I. Join their game, join their chat, and yeah,
Yeah.
it works out.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it helping in a lot of ways too. Like just like as an icebreaker, like you're saying, like it can help form connections and just have help somebody have something to look forward to, which could also, I mean, like you said, it could be a bad thing too. If you start getting too deep into it, everything is to be taken in doses. So, yeah, I guess it's just like anything. You just have to make sure you're disciplined and yes, have moderation. So, definitely, I agree. Like, I mean, I guess like you said too, I couldn't really see. Maybe it wouldn't be so helpful with like someone who's dealing with some form of PTSD. When maybe just depends on the game, I guess, and the form of therapy they have. Like I feel like it could be a good tool, but not a substitute for mental health treatment. Like it could be something that you do with therapy or what have you. So
Yeah, it can definitely help with depression depending on the people.
yeah.
Um, I know people that have certain injuries that can't leave their house, can't work,
Mm-hmm.
can't do anything. What else do they have if not the video games to socialize with other people? Because everyone has their own lives and they're busy. They can't always go to this person's house to hang out, and that person is kind of bedridden. So that's what they have, that's their median. And it helps in that way, it keeps them social in an active way.
I agree. So it's definitely important there. Like so I know we're saying you pretty much just answered this question. Do you think that gaming has a positive effect on your mental health? Like what ways do you think it helps you personally?
Me personally, I it's probably apparent in this. I do have a form of social anxiety, so it's just hard to have those conversations. But when the game is involved, you can focus more on the game and, you
Right.
know, shooting out your task. And then later on, it's like, oh, so how was your day? What did you do today? And it
Mhm.
breaks the ice for me there. It helped when I dealt with depression when my mom died and other things. So, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely does help for me when it comes to any type of mental problem that I'm having. I just immediately turn to games because
Mhm.
that's my escape.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Just being in those different worlds, like, and I just sitting here talking to you about it, like, I feel like, well, man, why did I stop playing so much? Because I really do enjoy video games. I like the different challenges. Is
But stopping isn't necessarily a bad thing because for me specifically, I tend to stop when it's like, all right, I know I'm doing this a little bit too much. I feel better overall. So, what
I,
can I do now that I feel better to be more productive with my life? And then you
okay,
kind of take that step back.
yeah, okay. So I guess right. I guess the time and the
It
place.
has its purpose, but
Right.
if you do have that level of mental stability where you can just take yourself away from it to be more productive, that's not a bad thing. So you stepping away isn't a bad thing. It had its place, it helped you when it needed to, and now you can kind of move on with the rest of your life.
That's
And the
true.
same goes for me. Like when I'm just having a bad day, it's just like, you know what? To hell with this work day. I just want to turn it on, press some
Right.
buttons with my friends, and relax. And I'll do that. And the
Yeah.
next day, I can just say, okay, well, maybe I just want to read today or be on the computer and get some bills paid or whatever mundane thing you have to do to be
Right.
more productive. But yeah, it had its place. It did what it needed to do. And now I'm going to move on.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. All right. Yeah, I like that looking. Yeah, I like that take on it. So can hey, you mentioned this a little bit too, and I feel like this isn't fair because you read all the questions. So can you how all right, so you
A
talked a
lot of
little
the
bit.
questions bled into each other, if I'm
Yeah,
going to be completely honest. So that's why it's just
definitely.
like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going to
what
give you a well rounded answer to some of these.
that's what I needed. That's what I needed. So appreciate it. So you
Yeah.
talked about how you're a mom. How long have you been a mommy?
Ooh, are we counting pregnancy? Because that had some little tweaks to it. But in general, just the plain number, 15 years.
Okay. Wow, like this again, looking at you, I'm like, where? But anyway,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Do you play games with your kids? Like, are you able to use that as a bonding tool with them? Like, or
Absolutely. Every
mm,
day I get a little on my phone. I get these I think it's called Game Pigeon on an
Hmm.
iPhone. She'll send me like a little dart game, a little basketball game, and we won't talk about anything. We'll just sit there going back and forth. And she'll send me a little sun emoji, which I still don't even know what that means, but I guess it means that she won and I lost, so I just take it as that. And my son loves racing games too. He always used to stare at this screen and watch when he was a baby, so he kind of pick that up. So I do tend to help him when he's stuck on certain parts and he's just like, whew, relieved. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's really cool. Yeah, like I would love playing like just board games and stuff with my family. So I think it would be even more cool to play video games with my mom. It's pretty dope.
Oh yeah. Board games, we do that too, not just video games. They
Yeah.
love Jenga, they love Uno. The game of life, that can be a
Yeah.
little argument there. Monopoly is always an argument, but it all works out in the end.
Yeah. Those games are so much fun. Like I love playing games. Like it's just a lot of fun. Okay. So are you do you have video games that you play in certain moods? I know you touched on it a little bit, but what do you play when you're feeling like just so frustrated, like you can't even talk? Like, what's your go-to?
A shooter game. A
Okay,
shooter game, absolutely. PvP. I'm just gonna crush whoever, like especially if I see like a teabagger or somebody like that in the game. It's like, okay, you're the
yeah,
person I'm gonna target. I'm gonna come after you every time. I'm gonna do a little emote and a spin after you die. But yeah, definitely shooters by far best way when angry.
yeah, I totally agree. Like, just something, like I said, where I can blast something away. Like, yeah, you need that time for sure. So, and okay, you already talked about that. Have you ever had to put a limit on how much you game, and how do you know, like, okay, this is getting in the way of what I need to do?
A lot of games that I play require a daily task. So, for instance, with Destiny, you have to get a number of kills to get a crafting material for something else.
Hmm.
You do that day in and day out, and it's just like, okay, it's kind of getting repetitive. I'm not feeling the same spark that I used to feel. What am
Yeah.
I missing? I'm missing real life goals, real life achievements. So let me take a step back from this and go
Hmm.
do that.
Okay. Good. That's really good that you're able to evaluate that, because it took me a long time to be that type of person. Like I have a really addictive type of personality. Like if I like to do something, I want to keep doing it, so I can't do it anymore. But now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, maybe that's enough. Like I'll do it later, or I'll have some more later, something like that. But it used to be really bad. So how did you when did you just get to that point where like I can't bullshit around anymore? I gotta make sure I'm actually spreading my time in the right places.
Um, I'll tell you the exact moment. It was playing Destiny 1 specifically.
Hmm.
There was a King's Fall raid. We would play three different characters every night to get to a certain point because we couldn't quite beat the boss with the group that we had. And
Hmm.
every day I was just like, okay, I'm going to get these boots. That's going to put me at, I don't know, level 400 when I was 398. And no matter how much I played, I couldn't get those boots. No matter what I did, it was always the same light that I had. And then I just got to the point where it's just like, okay, am I really going to spend another night doing this? Because I would be playing from 8 to maybe 2, 3 in the morning,
Wow.
waking up tired as shit because the kids will wake up with the sun. And I'm just like, I can't do this. Why are these boots worth it to me? this doesn't make any sense. And I just
Yeah.
got so sick of myself. I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop trying to get these damn boots.
Right.
And yeah, about 2 months went by and I didn't play it at all. And I picked it up again and I got those boots.
Okay.
And the level of satisfaction that I was looking for,
Yeah.
I didn't feel. So I was just like, huh,
Mm.
why is this the case? And like I said earlier, that was it. I was looking for a meaningful goal, a life goal to be fulfilled. And I
Mm.
tried to get that from a game, this
Mm.
median that couldn't give me that. So I was just like, okay, let me take a step back from this. I'm
Yeah.
grateful that I don't feel sad anymore, that I'm not focused on the parts of my life that were making me depressed. So
Right.
let me try and get back into that.
Yeah. That's really good. I've definitely been at that place before as well. Just trying to distract myself with other stuff when I know I should be doing this, that, and the other. But most of the time for me, it's I'll just try to do something pointless to distract myself because I'm afraid. Like I don't want to face whatever it is I have to do.
It
And
all stems from fear, fear
yeah,
of failure, a fear of not being worthy, of not deserving. So
mm,
once you can hone down on what that fear is, then you can start taking baby steps to get out of that.
for sure. Yes, definitely. I totally agree. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm just reflecting on something that I'm currently going through right now, but yeah, it's definitely all from fear, and it's not gonna go away until you just face it. I mean, even then,
Like you don't have to gun ho and face it, but you
yeah,
do need to acknowledge what it is in
right,
order to work on it.
right. Yeah, and I don't think it totally goes away. I mean, in anything that I've ever done, the fear never totally goes away. You just learn how to move around it for real or bring it with you.
Yeah.
That's what so do you think I already asked that. What made you want to step into the tech field and begin creating video games of your own?
Um, oh, that's a good question. I always appreciated environmental art and landscape art, and I
Yeah.
wanted to create my own. But what am I really doing if it's not being used in the way that I love to see it? Because in a lot of video games, that's all the background is. It's somebody's idea of what was beautiful, what was scary.
Mm-hmm.
How can I convey what my ideas are to people in a way that was meaningful to me? So I was like, okay, maybe I need to get into this field to better understand it. It comes with different aspects. So just creating it, it would have to be on a 3D platform like Maya, Blender. But knowing how to use it in a meaningful way is code. Coding all of that into the game. So, yeah, that's what I
Wow.
chose to do.
That's really cool. Like I took a computer science class one time, Sally, like one time, because I thought me and my best friend thought, hey, this will be easy. That'll be the easiest math we ever did. We were so yes, so good. Like,
Man, I've been
yeah,
struggling with the math. I can't even lie. But I completely agree. The math is not fun. You have to completely focus to make sure those grades are right. Otherwise,
yeah.
you're done.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like when you told me that's what you were doing, like, man, that's amazing. Like that's
Thank
really
you.
phenomenal. And just because, like, to be honest, like a lot of women don't take on that field. A lot of women of color don't take on that field. So that's really great. And yeah,
Yeah,
I'm really
that was a
happy.
fear of mine. The fear was going back to school. I always
Mm-hmm.
told myself I would once my kids were older. And
Right.
even back then, when I started going for it, And I
Hmm.
ended up leaving because, got pregnant, life happens, blah, blah.
Right.
But I said once technology progresses to where you can go to school online, because I just thought it was cool at that point that technology advanced to the point where I can just write my papers on my phone, email
Yeah.
it to myself, and print it once I got to school. So I was just like, I'd rather do all of this online. And
Right.
yeah, and now I have that opportunity. So it's like, okay, I have no excuse now. And then what
Right.
goes through your head? You get anxiety. Oh my God, but everybody says the math is so hard. How am
Yeah.
I going to get through it?
Yeah.
Just said, fuck it. I was like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to stop being a scary ass. Let me just get this done. And that's
Yeah.
what I did. And
That's
it is
awesome.
hard. Even now, it's hard, but it feels worth it. So I'm just going to keep going with
Heck yeah. Yeah. That's great. You know, buy that first video game that you publish. Heck yeah, man.
it.
It's so cool. Like, it's so awesome. So yes, let me know when you need help with them concepts though. I
Yes. You know I'm coming to you. That's not even a question in my mind. It's when do you have time, Tamika? Because I need X, Y, Z, A, B, C.
let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, that's another thing too. Like with the organization, that's what gets in my way as well. Just creating and pushing the content. So I definitely understand that. That's what steps in my way. But I'm trying to get better at it. I got this thing. I don't know if you heard of Monday, but it really works. That really, really works. So you should try it out. Tell me what you think.
I will.
Yes. So, how do you feel about the way women are portrayed in video games? What do you think about that? Like,
Well, it's gotten better. I'm going to be fair. Back when
it
I was growing up, you had to be super sexy.
has.
They always had like the biggest chest that jiggled all over the place and
Nothing
just
on
practically naked, just like strings, just enough to cover the nipples.
exactly.
So, yeah, it was bad. Even digitized. If you go back to like the first Tomb Raider. She was so pixelated, but you knew she was just voluptuous.
Yeah, and why did they have to make the noises that they did though? Like why they gotta do that? Like you play the zombie, like you don't have to do all that.
Exactly. But nowadays it is getting better and it's being more embraced overall. Like you'll see a few guys that'll just pick a female character
Yeah.
just because. So
Mm-hmm.
I love where it's going, but it's not quite there yet.
Got you. How would you what would you do to improve upon that? Like what would be your ideal way to portray women in video games?
Just to give them a more realistic look, like Bayonetta.
Mm-hmm.
She's just kind of like this thin, nerdy, but people look like that.
Yeah.
So once that's in video games and girls can see themselves portrayed in a normal light, maybe they'll be more open to playing those types of games. But if you turn it on and you're like, man, I can see why the boys are playing this, you
Right.
know, excuse me, yeah, they can walk away from that.
Okay. I agree. As a female gamer, do you think that it's possible to build a strong following or social media presence without exploiting or degrading yourself?
Yes and no.
Okay.
There's female gamers that have like Pokimane, but if you really look at it, it's just like the same typecast. Oh, headphones with cat ears and glasses and cleavage like that comes down to your belly button kind of style of t-shirts. So to some level they do it for attention. And
Right.
once those people, the people that are in it for the money, go
Yeah.
away, then it can get better. But more women need to join who are actually into video games, who are actually good at video games. then it can progress. And
Okay. So how do you spot that? Like, what type of channels are worth supporting and following, or if they're just there for the hype and bullshit?
yeah, that's kind of difficult to say. It depends on the what you like.
Oh wait, hold on, I can't hear you. I
Like
can
a
hear
certain type of
you. Okay.
game. Oh, can you?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, a call came through.
You're good.
Uh, but it's,
It's all right.
sorry about that.
That's okay.
Um, if you play a certain type of video game, you have to look into streamers who play that game as well.
Hmm.
Once you do that and you have a good sense of how games are played, you
Right.
can choose like, okay, this person really does know what they're doing. I'm learning things from them. If they describe the game properly, if they give tips on how to get better, you'll
Right.
want to play that. What gear to put on, what guns are good, or whatever the game is suited to, then you can use that information. But if it's just somebody just sitting there like, oh wow, oh, just kind of being dumb, I don't have no better way to put it, but just like, whoa, that was scary. Like nobody cares about that. Teach me about the game.
Yeah.
So we need more of that. People that, like I said, that are genuinely playing, because there are people that use bots and programs to pretend to be better, but it's like
Right.
you didn't kill that guy through the wall. You're cheating. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you because, like you said, I seen one of those a female that was doing something similar to what you mentioned. Like she's just sitting there, just reacting to stuff. I'm like, okay, maybe that's cool, but like, play the game. Like, play it.
Exactly.
Yeah, play it.
Nobody
Yeah.
cares.
Yeah. So I agree with you. Like, really play the game. Don't just do something just because it
Don't
might
just
make you
BS
fun.
with our time. Like as an adult, you have other things to do, and you don't want to sit there and watch someone
Yep.
waste time, essentially. You want to learn what you need to learn, go try it yourself in the game, and move on with your life. So
Exactly.
once you can get that, you're golden.
I totally agree. Stop wasting time. So, yes, I definitely really, really appreciate you for doing this. I appreciate you for coming.
You're
And
so welcome.
I got one more question for you, and then you can name my piece. Did you make anything over there?
Oh, girl, I've been totally focused on this. I had to
Okay, that's
be.
fine. That's fine. So, okay, one last question.
Yes.
What are three reasons other women should consider playing video games?
It it's a better escape, I find, than social media and a lot of other ways that women use.
Yeah,
Um, it'll help you bond with your kids, definitely, if you have them, or
yeah,
just family members in general, if you have nieces or nephews. And the third would definitely have to be to build the women community in gaming. Like we need to support each other in that way.
yeah.
So the more people involved, the more people would there are to, I don't know, just might want to become a Twitch streamer or whatever the popular
Right.
platform is. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
You're
just
right.
need more women in the community in general. I would have to say 100%.
Okay.
Hi, Serena.
Yeah, I was gonna say some people are saying hello. I'm like, I'm not really good. I can't write at the same time. Like I'm trying to peel this off, and I'm doing a terrible job. So I'm just let it be up here. So yes, but I agree. I think more women should get into streaming, gaming for the love of it. Like you know,
Exactly.
show your ass crack all the time. You know. You can actually share what you know. So yes, okay. What would you call this?
I love that. I
Think
see a lily. I see like some sunset action going on. I would say flower fields.
flower field?
Fields.
Okay, flower field. I like that. Yeah,
Yes.
and that's what it will be. I will write that here.
All right.
Yes. Anything you want to sign off with?
Um, just that it was great. And thank you for anybody listening, watching. And Tamika, you're amazing. I love what you did and much success to you.
Thank you.
And have a good night, everyone.
Yes, thank you. Have a great evening. Sally, you did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Again,
Oh my God, I'm nervous wreck this whole time. You don't even know.
I thank you so much for being here and just,
You're welcome.
you know, I know you busy as shit, but I really appreciate it. I do.
Yes,
And
anytime.
of course, and everybody out there, thank y'all for watching, listening. You guys want to join the conversation, hit me up. You got any mental health questions, you need to talk to somebody, hit me up as well. Love y'all. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.